In this chapter of our epic India journey, we dive into the heart of the nation, Delhi. From ancient dynasties to modern marvels, we begin in New Delhi, wandering through iconic landmarks, both historic and modern, such as Qutub Minar, Humayun's tomb, and the Lotus Temple.
Old collides with new as we venture into the chaotic, colourful soul of Old Delhi. Here we stand in awe as Jama Masjid, India's largest mosque, experience the warmth of Sikh hospitality at a local gurdwara, and lose ourselves in the swirling sense of Asia's largest spice market.
Climbing aboard an overnight train, we journey to Rajasthan, where the magnificent Junagarh Fort in Bikaner awaits, an architectural wonder steeped in stories of royalty, power, and resilience. Join us in this epic adventure.
Continuing on from our video delving into the best of Mumbai, we arrive in Delhi just in time for a once-a-year spectacle. It's India's Independence Day, and from our rooftop, we witness the capital burst into celebration, a vibrant, moving moment that sets the stage for everything to come.
So what's going on, Miranda?
Well, everyone seems to be flying kites for India Independence Day, which is pretty cool.
Independence Day?
Oh, good one.
Each August, the skies over North India fill with kites, fluttering symbols of defiance and freedom. Once a tool to spread messages during anti-colonial rebellion, kite flying on Independence Day has evolved into a joyful tradition that brings people together in colour and spirit.
Our first stop the next morning is a towering remnant of conquest and devotion. Qutub Minar, built atop a former Hindu site, served both as a symbol of victory and as a minaret for the Islamic call to prayer, an enduring monument layered with complex history.
So we're at Qutub Minar, 72.5 metre tower right here. It was built in 1193 by the slave dynasty that had come from Afghanistan. Initially, this was actually a Hindu temple from the 4th century, but essentially it was taken over by the Islamic slaves in the late 1100s. So all this red sandstone comes from Rajasthan. It was all brought here by camels and by elephants, basically carted over here. At the top, you might notice there's some white marble sections up there. That was also brought from Rajasthan, but that was in the 16th century, I should say, when there was a massive earthquake in the area and had to be replaced. You'll notice still some remains from the Hindu temples here as well. And one thing that's quite noticeable in Islamic temples is there's never any depictions of faces in Islamic temples. It's got a lot to do with their religious beliefs. So all the faces and the heads from the original Hindu sculptures have been taken off as a part of the Islamic beliefs, basically. So the iron pillar here actually comes from the 4th century when this was a Hindu temple, and part of the legend is that if you put your head up against the back of the pillar itself, it'll provide you with good luck, and also you can make a wish. The local Hindu people, because they use so much oils in their hair, they actually had to barricade it off because they found it was starting to rot. But this is the only 4th century pillar in the area, and it's the only one made out of iron. one here was named after a king who died, unfortunately, in 1311 before this was complete. Alauddin Khilji was the name of the king. It was basically supposed to be twice the size of Qutub Minar, and they never got to complete it, but this is, yeah, a couple of centuries after the original. Okay, so that was Qutub Minar, the minaret of the slave who built this here in the 13th century. Beautiful site, UNESCO World Heritage listed. We're going to go check out some more beautiful sites and more heritage listed sites now. Up here we've got the Lotus Temple, which is a modern architectural piece built between 1980 and 1986. It's a Baha'i temple, which is a more modern religion that comes out of Iran. They actually have a very open faith policy here in this temple. So inside is a big giant meditation hall where you can go inside and pretty much worship any faith or denomination or whatever mindfulness you want to practice in there. They're very, very open-minded about that. The actual marble itself comes from Greece. And this is one of the few places that we're going to visit in this part of our trip that I haven't actually been to. So I came here back in 2013, the Qutub Minar that we saw at the last stop, and a lot of the other sites of Delhi we're going to see. I've actually been here before, but Miranda hasn't been here before, so this is all new for her, and this spot in particular is new for both of us, which is kind of cool. So we've just passed through the Bulhalama Gate and we are about to enter into Humayun's tomb, which was the second Mughal emperor here in India. In fact, Humayun's tomb was used as the model of the famous Taj Mahal, which we will be seeing in a few days' time, one of the wonders of the world, and that was by the 5th Mughal emperor. So he took this design here. Bulhalama, the gate that we just passed through, was actually the nanny of Humayun, so she was very important to him. So there's actually a tomb that we'll see later on. What we've just passed there, another gate, was used for all the workers of the Humayun's tomb. So there was 3,000 workers, and it was all contracted by his wife for the creation of his tomb, which we're about to see, and that was in the 16th century. So the ruler Humayun died in 1556 when he fell down some stairs on his way to the call to prayer. Apparently there may have been some issues with being under the influence of opium, which the British were trading here at the time in order to infiltrate parts of India. Regardless though, his wife started construction in 1565 and it took 7 years. So in 1572 it was complete and it became the first major Mughal structure here in India. As I said before, it became the inspiration for the Taj Mahal. The roof, or the top, the dome at the top, is built from white marble, and the idea is to cool down the interior of the building with ventilation system. It's pretty much done in an octagonal way, in octagonal shapes with all these ventilated windows here. And the path that we're taking right now is representing the chain, the Islamic belief on the way to paradise, and it's a 4x4 garden that pretty much surrounds the building itself. I'm going to go inside now. Apparently it's about 5 to 7 degrees cooler inside because of the ventilation, maybe even more, so let's go and cool off a bit because it is steaming today, about 35 degrees Celsius. What do you think, Cheeky?
A little bit cooler in here.
A lot cooler. You feel that breeze, the ventilation system's really working here. Easily 10, maybe 15 degrees cooler in here than outside. God, it's boiling today. It's a beautiful structure. So this is the tomb in the middle there. It's the original tomb. So this is the tomb of Isa Khan. It was actually built during his lifetime. He was a nobleman who was close with Humayun, and it was actually built just before the death of Humayun. So it was 1547, which technically means it predates Humayun's tomb, but Humayun's tomb is the first major Mughal structure here in India. That last one we just went and saw, the Isa Khan one, was actually the Suri dynasty. So technically, yeah, Humayun's tomb is the first of the Mughal dynasty. So we just passed by the India Gate there, which is a massive memorial erected for the soldiers that died in World War I fighting for the British against the Germans over in Europe. 19,000 soldiers died. They have 13,500 names approximately written on the archway there. And there's also a monument, a memorial there, which originally contained the statue of King George V, which was taken down during the independence of India, and it pretty much sat empty for political reasons up until about 2 years ago, when they finally did what they originally planned to do, which was put in a statue of Mahatma Gandhi. So we're at Connaught Clubhouse, which is actually Delhi's first microbrewery. I've got a little flight here, a tasting flight of different beers. So we've got the wheat beer here, the Weiss beer, the German one. We've got a lager, we've got an IPA and a dark beer. Let me give them a little try. I love a good Weiss beer. It's actually quite light and easy to drink on a nice hot day like today. Lager's got a nice full body. It's quite a light IPA as well. Not too strong, not too hoppy. Oh, that dark beer is kind of chocolatey. We've got a whole day worth of stuff to do, and I'm gonna drink this thing.
Chickpea kebabs with like spring onion and cheese.
This mutton rogan Josh looks phenomenal. Oh, yum. Good? It's good. Behind me there we have the Parliament Houses, and we have the government buildings over here that were built by the British in 1911, and also the Presidential Palace, which is the largest presidential palace in the world. So we've started our 3-week journey with Intrepid. We're about to head on the train and go out to Old Delhi and check out some of the sights and sounds of Old Delhi. You can see on some of the doors on the storefronts there, they've got 7 chilies and a lemon. It's a Hindu belief basically to ward away bad spirits. There, right down the bottom there. Everything's kind of closed at the moment because it's bright and early here in Old Delhi through the markets, but we're going to head out to the mosque very, very shortly, and we'll come back here afterwards once everything comes to light. Old Delhi is an orchestra of chaos, rhythm and life. From flower stalls to sizzling chapatis, roadside barbers to spice-laden carts. Every street corner is buzzing, a sensory overload that feels like walking through a living market storybook. So we're at the Jama Masjid, which is actually the largest mosque in all of India. It was built in the 17th century by a Mughal emperor, the 5th Mughal emperor, the same one that built the Taj Mahal, known as Shah Ajahabad. And that's actually where the Old Delhi name originally comes from. It's known as Shah Ajahabad, named after that Mughal emperor.
And he also built the Red Fort in this area here. The name of the mosque itself, Jama Masjid, actually means Friday worship. So that's when they traditionally came here to worship. And you've got these big giant minaret towers here. This was used during the call of prayer to pretty much attract all the people in to come and pray in this area. These days they use loudspeakers because of the horns and the beeping you can hear in the background there. But it's an absolute beautiful sight. And like I said, the largest mosque in India, 250,000 people can come here and worship.
Leaving the grandeur of Jama Masjid behind, we dive back into alleys where the real magic happens. Intricate murals peek through the dust, regal old Havelis hide behind crumbling facades, and in narrow lanes, the best street food and tea or chai is served.
So we're in a Gurudwara right now, or a Sikh temple. There's Sri Ganj, and it was named after a Sikh ruler who was unfortunately beheaded by a Mughal ruler or army when they were trying to basically take over. I was just filming before and a guy came up and tapped me on the shoulder, and I actually thought he was telling me not to record, but he actually wanted to get a selfie with me, so it's pretty funny. Here only comprises about 2 to 3% of the population of India, compared to Islam, which is, as I mentioned earlier, about 15% of the population of India, and Hinduism, which is about 70 to 75% of the population of India. Most of the Sikhs live up in the state of Punjab in the north, around the capital city of Amritsar, and there's a sizable population down here. One of the cool aspects of Sikhism is the fact that they believe in community service and in giving donations so they can provide food for poorer people, and also, spend time here helping prepare the meals for the poorer people as well, which I think is a really respectable thing. I think 150,000 people per day or something like that up in the Golden Temple in Amritsar get free meals in the temple every single day, which I think is really, really cool. And they're doing the same thing here, which we're checking out now in the kitchen. You can see the ladies rolling the chapati bread and making the curry and the lentils behind. It's all vegetarian food too. One of the interesting aspects as well, I noticed, is they carry a small dagger with them and a spear, and that's because when the Mughal Empire came through here, they tried to convert the Hindus and the Sikhs into Islam, essentially waged war on a lot of these religious sects. So it's part of their belief now is to always carry the dagger, and we even saw a guy with a spear, which was pretty cool.
For our next journey, we embrace a uniquely local experience, the cycle rickshaw. For thousands in Delhi, this is not just transport, but survival, offering daily wages in a city where opportunity is scarce, but the hustle never stops.
We're about to head into Kariboli, which is apparently Asia's biggest spice market, so we'll go in and check out some of the local spices in there. smell is just incredible here. So many spices. This is amazing. What do you think, babe?
After a day of sights, sounds, and flavors, we prepare for the next leg of our adventure, our first overnight train journey in India.
What do you think?
It's alright.
Is that right?
Do that.
Triple bunks. 1, 2, 3.
Giant snowball bird. A bunch of chickens.
Crossing west into Rajasthan, we arrive in the desert city of Bikaner just after dawn breaks.
I'm sleeping.
On and off.
That's something at least.
We settle into Byron Villas, a peaceful heritage hotel, a stark contrast to the intense, chaotic energy of the city outside. But amidst the noise and pollution stands Bikaner's crown jewel, the awe-inspiring 16th century Junagarh Fort, a must-see fortress teeming with tales of power and pride.
So we're at the Junagarh Fort here in Bikaner. Just entering the fort, it goes back to 1588. Just walk through the gate there and you can see some spikes on the gate door, and the spikes are there actually to defend against charging elephants that were used during battle. It has a 1.5 kilometre circumference which is surrounded by a moat, and that moat would have been filled with wild animals at the time, like hyenas from the desert, so they had quite an extensive fortification here. So it's quite an impressive fort too.
So sati was one of the tradition where the queen or the lady used to die or burn her body with the husband, the dead body of the husband. Because sati itself means righteous, and for the queen, it was again the world was gone when his husband used to die. It was again a spiritual way how they used to die. They believed that as we are not going anywhere but we are merging with our husband. And sati was again a volunteer act. It was not like everyone will do it. It was a volunteer act that if anyone feel like that I can't live without my husband and my husband has died. So at that time, she used to get the permission, and after that she used to say that I want to die with my husband. So when the funeral pyre was set, she used to sit before the prayers were done, and before putting onto the funeral pyre, these imprints of those ladies were put here, so that they are memorial of those ladies who died with their husband.
So we've passed the initial defences and we're entered inside of the fort now. During the reign of the Maharajas, there were 23 Maharajas or Hindu rulers that governed this fort. Probably the most notable was the 21st, who in the late 1800s and early 1900s had a very strong connection with King George V in England. He's actually most well known for the canal system that he actually built from Punjab all the way down here into the Thar Desert. 800 kilometres, or just over 800 kilometres. It still hasn't even finished. It's actually one of the biggest canal systems in the world, and the project's still ongoing. is one of only 2 of these planes in the world that fought in World War I. It was gifted to the Maharaja Gangi Singh for his efforts and assistance during World War I from the British. So this is in honor of them, and you can see some of the relics around here, kind of like a little mini museum.
Within the thick walls of Junagarh lies a museum stocked with a treasure trove of royal relics. From jewelled swords to embroidered robes, every room echoes the grandeur of Rajasthan's warrior kings and the artistry of a bygone era.
This is where the ladies used to spend a lot of their time, and they were all trained in combat in case there was ever an attack. So there's these little boxes up here which would have had weapons stored inside just in case there was ever an attack. And you can see these rings on the roof, these loops. They would have hung down lanterns from here, and the light would have reflected from the mirrors, filling up the space here. It would have been absolutely beautiful.
Preserved with care and passion, the fort's legacy lives on through the Maharaja Rai Singh Ji Trust, established by the royal family of Bikaner. Although the government of Rajasthan controls the fort itself, it remains under the custodianship of the trust, with the royal family's active involvement ensuring both expert conservation and public engagement.
Bidding farewell to the fort's regal halls, we head to a humble local spot to taste the unique flavours of Bikaner's Rajasthani cuisine.
How's your fresh puri?
Hot. Really delicious. Once it cools down.
So we're in the old part of Bikaner, and these buildings you see around us here are between 100 and 150 years old. They're known as Havelis, which were the homes of the merchants on the Silk Road trade route, and they were gifted by the Maharaja as a safe place for them to live and operate their business out of, and in return they paid taxes and tributes to the Maharaja. A lot of the generations later on whose ancestors inhabited these homes, they moved out to larger cities like Mumbai, and now a lot of them are trying to claim back ownership of these. So there are actually some tensions at the moment about ownership. Apparently the government has actually taken over a lot of these, and the government is now sort of restoring them and upkeeping them with all of these legal issues pending.
Navigating a labyrinth of alleys via tuk-tuk, we reach an ancient Jain temple south of the city center.
So we're entering into a Jain temple here in Bikaner, and part of the religious rules are that you can't take water bottles, so we've left all our water outside with our shoes and socks. Look at this. Muchas gracias.
Paintings you can see. And now the story starts from that Jain religion. Again, is one of the religions contemporary Buddhism.
So the foundation of this temple goes back to 1468, a few decades before the actual city of Bikaner was first founded. So this is one of the oldest buildings in the whole city, if not the oldest building. He was telling us a bit of a legend about how when they first settled the foundations here, they wanted to make it as pure as possible. And in using the mixture of the foundations, instead of using water, they actually used purified butter. And apparently there is a rumor here on a really, really hot day, you can still smell the butter. One of the unique things about this temple as well is most Jain temples are usually adorned with sculptures. This one's adorned with more frescoes, and that's really unusual for Jain temples, but very, very beautiful. It's so hot right now. Honestly, I can't smell any butter, but it's really hot. This place is like a palace. Look at this, royal palace. I love the thing in this place. It's an old heritage building. It's absolutely stunning.
This marks an unforgettable introduction to Rajasthan, a land of legends, forts, and fierce beauty, which we'll explore in much more detail over the coming episodes. Join us next as we journey deep into the Thar Desert to explore the golden city of Jaisalmer, a breathtaking UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Hey guys, just a quick message. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Many hours of work goes into every single video we make, and we try to make them to the very best of our ability.
We take the time to choose the best travel destinations and the best adventure activities so that we can provide you with top-tier content.
However, the only way our channel can grow is with your help. If you enjoy our videos, please leave a comment letting us know along with any questions you may have, or if there's anything you'd like to see more of.
Interactions in the comments section, along with liking our videos, is what gets us exposure on YouTube, along with sharing this video. If there's anyone you think would enjoy our videos, please share and help us grow global travel stories. We thank you for your support.